Recording has started. So again, welcome everyone to the SustainEd Colloquium, and I'll start by acknowledging the elders and the people of the Kulin Nations here, and just tell you a little bit about the SustainEd network. So yeah. So you should all be able to see the PowerPoint presentation.
Can you see?
And I just wanted to remind people very quickly that why we're here, and that was to actually explore what it means to actually have a network of sustainability educators. And part of the reason for that was that we realised that we're a very rare breed in our own institutions, and we're spread out thinly across the country. And I think one of the other take-home messages is when you get down to discipline levels, we even thin out more. So being able to talk between conferences, being able to share ideas, being able to meet other people who you've read about in papers and online, etc. in the past, I think has been of a fair amount of benefit. And this project has been funded by the OLT. It finishes virtually at the end of this colloquium and the handbook that we're about to put together, but we have constructed it in a way that we can continue on. And also with the notion that there are other networks out there, and we are continually in a process of working out how we interface with existing networks so that we don't reproduce them, and resources so we don't reproduce them, but we sort of add value and complement what's happening. So the focus here is on practice, up to the minute practice, sharing ideas, perspectives, directing people to resources, etc. And I think you all know that we've got a blog site. I don't think I've got time to go to the blog site, but Alison, who's the project coordinator here, was saying before, can we take them to the website, the blog site? Because a lot of them don't realise how much is on there. So if there's one thing that I would say out of today is go on the blog site, you've all registered through that, click around on the various places, because there's an increasing amount of material and ideas on that, and we're continuing to upload those things as we go. And this whole recording broken down into bits will be available on that as well. We're also very much aware that people are very busy. People can't make every one of these things. There is a particular focus areas, disciplinary or interdisciplinary. People sometimes can't make those. So we're trying to have a place where you can keep up to speed a bit with what's happening, what the discussions are in your own time, you know, out of face-to-face time. The program, very simply, is we've got a wonderful keynote speaker, Kirsty Albion from AYCC here today, who I'll introduce in a few minutes. We're going to just whip around and ask people for 1 minute to say something about the hubs they've been involved in or ideas for hubs. And then we're going to spend a bit of time looking at this next stage, which we started looking at the symposium last October, which was how do we put together an up-to-date practical handbook for people who are pursuing sustainability education in tertiary. We want to try and make it a living handbook so people can add things to it over time, and we've got some thoughts about that. But today we want to try and dig down a little bit in terms of what should be in that handbook, and also a little bit about how should we actually construct that, and maybe think about how it might get constructed in the next year or so out from this, using some of the new technologies off the shelf, technologies that are and processes that are available. Then we're going to, after we've had a look at that and feedback from the various sites that have been they're going to be discussing that, we then want to have a brief look at the learning and teaching, or dip into the learning and teaching sustainability website. So Melissa Edwards, who's in Sydney, who one of the people overseeing that, it's a fabulous repository for sustainability education in tertiary resources. So she's just going to remind you of that, and also give you a bit of an up-to-date of where that's at, and maybe have a bit of discussion about how else we might use that more actively down the track. And then the final sort of main thing is the ACTS conference, which is this October. It's in Victoria. I've got involved in the educational side of that in terms of the management of it. So there's an opportunity for us to say what we want to happen at the education stream session at the ACTS conference, which is in Geelong in October. And then a bit of a wrap up, where do we go to from here?